And relationship management issues, it's something that goes on your representation. Be very careful on the representation of the publisher of your studio to any external third-party companies. We'll talk separately about the platforms, but in general. And keep in mind that you get sold. When you get into the relationship with the publisher structure or like even a venture fund structure or any other structure, and you start to produce the product that starts to produce attention, and start to produce some audience, and then at some stage sales, that gets into a part of the presentation that underlines and shows and presents it as success of the structure you're working with. So being able to represent you and associate with you if you're successful is extremely important for those organizations. And you might really give it a little bit of a deeper thought and have a conversation of what can be done and what cannot be done in a way of representation without your awareness. Really can save you some nerves, especially because of the fact that representation works in a way where people tend to do it first and then apologize even if you're pissed, rather than not to do it at all, and you cannot do a shit about it. So keep this in mind as well. Active attempts to make all external relationship exclusive for publisher. Don't allow that to happen, never. Like, an exclusivity of communication is something that you, it's a free speech basically, and representation of your company should always be your priority. And even if there is a sensible data, you need to have an opportunity to discuss it, vet it, and put it outside the way you see that. And if there is a different levels of sensitivity of this data, you might also want to include it in the contract. That tends to really help. Abusing financial leverage in representation, basically saying that, look, we're paying for this project, we're a legit partner, we want to be a bigger part of that, so we are going to sell this whole thing to a new investor, let's say a strategic deal. Our relationship would not change, but it will change. And even if this is happening, you really need to understand how the change of the course from the publisher side would influence your project and your relationship, which are probably still ongoing. Not accountable for non-delivery obligations as well. Like, anything that goes to the relationship automatically qualifies as a soft factor. And you need to sometimes keep people to their word, even if not at the legal side, but just maybe at the personal side. Basically saying that, look, this is the second time you broke the promise that you've been putting. And really start to get annoyed about this is going on to happen, and we need to change how it works. You cannot live in a world where things that have been told by people are constantly get altered or changed to their own benefit without your participation in the process. It means that you're in an abusive relationship if you are, and you don't want to be in an abusive relationship to the point where even if you got into one, maybe it's better to crash and burn everything to get out of it, because like those situations never end in a good fashion. They never end well. If you feel like you're in one, get away immediately. Maybe with even if the cost looks high, trust me, it will be still lower in comparisons how it will develop. General business development, publisher side is not generally effective. That's one of its biggest issues, because again, it's across the board. All of these initiatives are across the board, and a lot of people are thinking about business development of more like sales in general. And some of the opportunities that can be procured for the publishers end, they really should be produced from the developers. So a situation I'm trying to aware you of, and again, something where you need to get your focus at, is you will be told, because people sell very, very well in the industry. People are good talkers into the game development industry. You will be told that we will do that, do's and these things for you. And you will think that, well, since other people are already doing that, we probably should not. And the truth is, you should do it yourself. Even if they do it from their end, that's fine, keep them informed. But you should do it from your end in general. So just do it this way. Not really a business development at this point. Again, business developers typically do some stuff related to sales or some weird shit related to their backgrounds. And some of their efforts, they're actually not compatible with your product. And you need to have an opportunity to be able to say that it's not compatible with your product. It's as simple as this. I mean, like, it's maybe the biggest, maybe Pornhub, one really likes your game and wants to pay publisher $5 million for advertising product placement of dildos in your kid's shooter. I mean, like, but you probably don't want to do that. I don't know. A lot of business developers, they get so much merit with the projects that they would disregard these factors, and they would be kind of like, yeah, that's fine, it's gonna be fine, it's all innovative, we should do that still. And remember that the business developers are in general paid bonuses per deals that they're bringing in and the KPIs that they're producing, so they are quantifiable. Business developers are actually good people, because they're quantifiable and accountable. Well, there are two types of business developers, like good business developers who are accountable due to the deals they're making, or who provide you with the quantifiable data equal to their efforts. And then there are bullshit business developers who are telling this it was just a bad year and trying to stick to the work of the department rather than individual performances. You know, like those are the bad ones. Like don't trust those ones. They're just hanging out with anyone else to take on the salary and get the equal part of the bonuses into the department. You tend to block studio efforts to do stuff by their own if they're like occupied with it. But in general, it's an auxiliary point. It's not that of the serious. And for the last but not the least, we have platform and distribution. And this is a super important one, because reality is that as a developer, you would need to spend a lot of efforts to build relationship with the platform on the level that a lot of publishers have it. Moreover, every platform tends to prioritize relationship with the publishers who has 20 projects rather than with the developer that has one. And if you're going the publishing route, you would need to build your relationship with the publisher to prioritize on the relationship with the platforms. Once they see your game, once they check out your code, once you rotate into this world, you would also need to build your own relationships. But still, when this is going on, something you need to pay attention for is platform relationship always overweight relationship with the studio. As mentioned, will push any charges from platform as mandatory, no actual discussion about it. So what I'm trying to say is the structure of relationship between the publisher and the platform presumes the definite level of resilience, which is unattainable by the developer at this point. Just really, you cannot afford yourself a bunch of things that publisher can afford, and that would be Steam would pay in the next 60 or 90 days. Often developers cannot really wait for it, so publisher would need to elevate it. You need to have this conversation. Like when the game goes out and the financing's over, what money you would use to pay salaries for the next 3 months before stuff get recouped and before the revenue share actually would start happening and money's receivables would be arriving at the publisher's end. So you need to discuss this asymmetry as well. Like you need to basically say that looks like how are we doing this? Like what are we paying for? Like maybe we need to amend the contract a little bit that some of the revenue share goes like with the split immediately, or you would be borrowing us money against as a short-term loan against arriving resources and so on and so on and so on. So think about it. A lot of people missed this point, and a lot of people got into the situation where they literally had like this like a dead quarter of no money because they just didn't have this tool. And you shouldn't get into the same issue. If you work with the platform by yourself, keep in mind as well that you will be waiting for this money for quite some time. And just look at the taxes as well. Explore situation related to tax, because platform deductions plus associated tax is more than you think. Depending from the territories, you would be getting less money. Depending from the location of the publisher, you need to really carefully look at the definitions of gross and net and adjustable gross and a bunch of other interesting terms that people tend to come up with, and you need to be very careful about contractual definitions of it, because you don't want to get in a situation where you will get all of the deductibles happening before your revenue share, even those that should not really happen, or at least deductibles that are bargainable. Let's put it this way. Overselling relationship with platforms to minimize marketing expenses. It's like, why would we spend more money here if those guys at Sony are like super cool friends and we are like quite sure that we can get you games for these discounts and through like on these positions on the market store, so everyone would see that. And the problem here in this quite sure, because there's a notice element. Most of the publishers oversell those promises and they might just not happen. And if they're not, it means that the marketing in general didn't presume this hole and this drop into the effort, and it needs to be somehow compensated. So again, keep people to the word. Like publishers have contract with the platform. Like, and if someone says that, like, kid, don't worry, we'll have your game everywhere. We're like, oh yeah, cool, nice to hear that. Can I look at the contract with the platform so they commit to the fact that you will, and specifically on what positions for what time as well? Because it's important for us to know, because like we need to understand what's the cost of the risk of missing the deadlines, because you have already set with the publisher on a contract if you're promising this for the specific dates, I presume. Again, a whole bunch of very interesting conversations may happen around those. We'll still push to any and all deductibles at developer. As an ex-manager from the Epic Games to the Unreal Engine department, I'm bringing this disposition specifically by multiple cases of publishers who would want deductibles on the engine to happen at the developer's end, which is not necessarily the case how it should be happening. Well, actually, in most of the cases, it should be happening at the publisher's end. It's just developers don't know that. I mean, like, and so now you do. So don't allow people to do that to you. And has no real interest in discussing business terms improvement for the project with platforms because it's all set for them for a whole bunch of various positions. So yeah, I mean, like, those are the points that you need to keep in mind. I hope it's been useful. Here I am. It's been quite interesting. Alex is out. Talk to you soon. Cheers.